Now, the brothers and sisters, we come to the second part of the audio-visual and the audio on the other side being done simultaneously for the benefit of the listeners, and of course to be shared with you via the Hello Gambia radio and synchronizing it with the Banjul Focus Point or .com site, which we now share with our accounts on the YouTube and also Twitter. That very reason, we are now going to proceed on the second part of the program. As I said earlier, these ones I am going to reiterate that point before we proceed as a reminder that I'll tabulate some of the variables here under and attach short analysis to each one of them while we build a case together, therefore ultimately expose Yahya's catch in his latest deceptive tactic in collaboration with Alhaji Mustafa Karel alias Sun, the seasonal bird in political climate. 1. Marbles, colors and choices. Gambians would recall when I came out and made reference to the Taiwanese delegation that visited the Gambia in the year 2001, headed by former Taiwanese Vice President Annette Lu. She was the Vice President of former Taiwanese President Chen Shui-bian. Annette Lu flew into the Gambia with electoral marbles showing those as samples. Let me tell Gambians this today. Yahya Jammeh has always refused to answer or to budge as far as the question or questions I've been asking him regarding the latter are concerned. And that is, what did he do with the marbles that were there during the PPP era, and why did he change the colors of the marbles to a color of his choice? He will never honestly answer to that question, as he knows why certain creatures he groomed were opening and plastering ceilings or roofs at polling stations, not polling booths. The polling station, in the mind of the crook, is not the same as the polling booth. You can see activities that appear normal at the polling booth, but when the ballot is moved to another location they considerably call a polling station, what is done is different from what you see. Now, here I am making reference to where the ballot boxes are hidden overnight before counting is done, in some cases. Now, who controls the area? Administratively, and indeed within a security perspective coming from the executive. Alcalolus, chiefs, governors, and PIE personnel, which is the police intervention unit personnel. Think, Gambians, think. Let me tell you this. Yahya Jammeh has never ever won any election through the right channel. He uses deep-rooted and deceptive tactics and then jumps out of his stinking dungeon saying, I won, I won, when he did not win anything. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh can never ever win Ousainou Numukunda Dabo, Omar Amadou Diallo, Sidi Diatta, or even the Benjamin Henry Gomez, where elections are free and fair. Never ever. He knows that very well. And folks, let me repeat that, he knows that very well. Now, people of our land, beware of deceptive tactics that mix bullets with ballots. They always end up staying in power against the will of the electorates. Where that happens, tyranny is lodged, ruthlessness is lodged, oppression is lodged, domination is lodged, and that is indeed what one should expect from a dictatorial regime like the incumbent in the Gambia. Number two, tokens, proposals, deception, hiring of dubious companies to run the show. Now that we have seen Yahya and Karayol, the seasonal bird in political climate, come forward again with another deceptive tactic, let me share some facts with you, the Gambian, again. Yahya Jammeh would have never ever allowed Karayol to place that part of his agenda in quotes before the so-called House of Parliament if he had not secured something behind the scenes beforehand. Of course, something that favors him, not the Gambia. Yahya Jammeh knows that he has been tested by both courage and determination from both within and outside of the Gambia. Indeed, this challenge and determination is coming from Gambian citizens. He knows that his card for the kingship could not fly. Now he is trying another rather convincing but cunning, in quotes, approach. Him reaching out with an equation that includes the usage of tokens is absolute nonsense. I will for sure be vindicated by time again, inshallah. No doubt about that. What opposition party leaders, in my own view, need to ask or even find out on their own is, first of all, which company is going to be tasked for that matter when it comes to these tokens to be posted in the data system of the government, and then how that would be used at a polling station, or if you wish, a polling booth, so on and so forth. That is the reason why I'm asking this. Remember the history of the biometric cards and all that. These are variables one must associate to be able to come to a conclusion and understand that there will never be an honest answer to be expected from a dishonest person. They should also ask Yahya Jammeh, why is it that the government did not table it before the opposition party members or other stakeholders within and outside the Gambia to discuss modalities and everything administrative and political about it before he rushed to Parliament and everywhere else with that infantile style of doing things. Remember, styles are for the cosmetic, and principles are for the genuine and those who use substance to convince society but not form. Now, him using Karayol, the seasonal bird in political climate, is simply part of the theatricalities of political drama in a country where a despot is using democracy to mock democracy itself within its own circle of events. In fact, politicians should not be surprised when they hear Karayol, the seasonal bird in political climate, start approaching diplomats from foreign nations, trying to showcase that the IEC is a credible referee and Yahya Jammeh is a player who respects the rules and fair game, which we all know that is more of form than substance. By the way, Yahya Jammeh said two things that are like charcoal in the bowl of milk in respect of democracy and what it really stands for. Here he said, let us quote his own words, "I am a dictator for development." That ends the quote. That was during the days he was organizing demonstrations against the European Union. Next, or soon after the 30th December attack, which of course was an attack from his own disgruntled soldiers, whom he is taking to court, martial as we speak, he said, "I am a proud dictator." Now, do the math for yourselves. Here I will try on my own side. A, dictator plus development equal to negative development. B, pride plus dictatorship divided by arrogance equal to tyranny. If the above is matched with what some of us call being politically correct, in quotes, which dictators know how to use as a tool, it will then give us the third part of the formula, which will be a despot being politically correct when divided by checks and balances equal to being factually wrong. Indeed, the inner voice of that Gambian who cares so much for his country is constantly whispering as follows: fear is in trust. Fear is in trust. Fear is in trust. Number 3, franchise. Gambians abroad are neither terrorists nor enemies, They are neither terrorists nor enemies. They are part of the present and future of a nation where fear rules. Mr. Karayol, the seasonal bird in political climate, where all concerned citizens are whispering fear is in trust, must be reminded, or at best, be educated on this fact. That is, Gambians abroad are way too significant a number to be told, both in quantity and quality, that we do not have money to erect polling stations in your areas. They are way too important, both in quantity and quality, to be sidelined in this process that we call shaping the present and the future of our nation. Karayol is one of the most intriguing characters Africa has ever seen as far as supporting tyranny is concerned. People like him helped Laurent Gbagbo turn Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast upside down. People like him helped former President Blaise Compaoré turn Burkina Faso upside down. The Gambia's case will not be an exception. Karayol Osun likes making reference to the PPP era when criticizing, but what logic is here to challenge him with is this. Logic asks him this: what has changed under his nose as far as the dispensation of justice and democratic values are concerned? Sixth Sense has an answer to that. Decree 78, which established the IEC, was promulgated by the defunct AFPRC, which is the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council. But Karayol, that is what brought you on the stage, sir, which is indeed the height of paradox and deepest part of the ditch of irony. Alhaji Mustafa Karayol, the seasonal bird in political climate, where concerned citizens are whispering fear is in trust endlessly, is definitely the best associate of Yaya Jammeh from the men folk, and Aissatou Njie Seydi is the best associate of Yaya Jammeh from the women folk. Mr. Karayol may as well